App. If you guys are here for the first time, click that thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to the page. Don't miss out on any of the content I have coming out for you guys. We do this podcast after the snap for you. We give out all different bets for all different sports. So if you guys hear a little tic tac and walk around like some heels, that's my dog walking in the background. He got high heels on, walking around the house. And I'm your host, The Wager Zone. This is the co-host, Hezzy Hybrid. You want to say what's up to the people, Hez, right before we get started?
Yes, sir. Hope everybody's having a good holidays. Hope everybody's getting that last minute Christmas shopping in. I know it's hectic no matter where anybody's staying. And man, I could just hope that everybody can find what they're looking for because as I was just talking to you right before we started, man, people out there are crazy, especially during the holidays.
Yeah, everybody have a great holiday season. Christmas coming up. We got New Year's coming up. Get all your Christmas shopping done. And all like he said, we were just talking about something right before we hopped on here. Everybody stay safe because people during the holidays, for some reason, are not joyful. A lot of them are mad and they want to fight people and they just stressing out and they're angry. So be safe out there. Get your holiday presents done. And let's get right into some football because we got a Thursday night football game starting in about 45 minutes to it. Actually, about an hour to 45 minutes game will be starting. So let's get through the rundown. Let's go through the whole entire Sunday slate, talk about some Monday night football. We had a lot of injuries, a lot of great games that happened, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about. So we'll try to get through this within an hour so we can go watch some Thursday night football. And we can give you guys our prediction for Thursday night football right before the game starts. So first topic we're going to get into today is going to be the Broncos win over the Packers. That was actually a really good game. The Broncos just looked really good. Right before we talk about the injuries, I want to talk about how Denver won the game. With Denver going out there and improving, and they won the game how they did with scoring 34 points on that Packers defense. And Bo Nix just looked like he had the best one of his best games of his career. Bo Nix looked out there and he was like very comfortable with the win over the Packers. I'm gonna ask you this question first. Has did they prove that they're the clear number one seed in the AFC?
Honestly, I feel like I want to say yeah for sure. I mean, at least coming into this week, before they end up winning that game, I was like, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be between them and New England for the top seed. Obviously, despite the recent loss that the Patriots just took this past week, but other than that, they were pretty much on a roll, And but I do believe that Denver has the better defense, and you can never count out Bo Nix, and the team once the fourth quarter hits, as we've seen on track record. Like it doesn't even matter how many points they're down. It's like fourth quarter comes
Mhm.
around, you can always rely on Bo just to lead them back and win the game. So as of right now, yeah, it's been teeter tottering back and forth just between them and New England. But I would definitely say right now, Broncos is definitely looking like the clear contender for the number one in that conference.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think the Broncos, after they went out there and beat the Packers the way they did, very like I said, I almost said Brock Purdy, but Bo Nix coming out there and looking very comfortable against that Packers defense. Him having the game one, like I said, one of his best games of his career. And a lot of people were talking about the Broncos offense. We all knew the Broncos defense is top one, top two defense in the league. It's like I think the best defenses in the league right now. You got the Texans probably number one, Broncos number two, and you got the Seahawks. Like those are the top three defenses in
Yeah.
the league. And the Broncos, everyone was always questioning, can the defense hold up? Can the offense hold up? Are the offense going to be able to score enough points? And Bo Nix went out there and proved against a great defense that he can go out there and do that. So I kind of agree with you. I think they're a clear number one seed, especially with New England going out there and blowing a 21-0 lead. We're going to get into that game for sure. Blowing the lead to the Bills and the Bills coming all the way back. I do for sure believe the Broncos are the clear number one seed. They're probably going to end up winning the division, going to the playoffs, and people better start looking out for the Broncos. I've been seeing people kind of like fading them all season. Everyone said the Broncos have no chance. The Broncos are a fake number one team. They're the team that they were saying. One thing I didn't understand is people were saying the Colts were more real than the Broncos. People were saying, "Oh, I trust the Colts more than I do the Broncos." I didn't understand that all season. I was even with Daniel Jones healthy. I was like, "No, the Broncos are clearly better coach, better defense, better quarterback." That's literally like, yes, they have a better run game, but that's about it. And that was about it that the Broncos had. So, yeah, I agree with you. If the Broncos keep this momentum up, they're gonna be atop the conference and they're gonna have the number one seed.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's kind of slightly under the radar too, and how underrated it is. But the run game has been vastly better too, just by having RJ Harvey back there, and they got some good some good players in the running back depth chart. So it takes a load off of Bo Nix, and definitely, and once they're able to get him comfortable in that pocket, then pretty much the game is all his for taking.
Yeah, you hear me, Hez?
Yeah, I hear you now. Did you hear what I
Yeah,
said?
yeah, I heard exactly what you're saying. My bad. I was posting the link. I'm posting the link to this to my Instagram so people can come and watch more, and they know I was
Yeah.
on. I forgot to post a link, but yeah, I heard you. Yeah, I just think that Bo Nix is starting to come into his own. I know I said that earlier in the season, and he kind of had a little slump, and I think he was on a roller coaster this season. But he's getting hot at the perfect time. At the end of the year, he's starting to play really well, and it just seems like they're putting everything together. So, as of right now, the way they're playing, I don't think people are gonna want to play the Broncos in the playoffs. Like those two teams, you do not want to play in the AFC right now in the playoffs. That's the Broncos and that's the Texans. That's just because the run game. I mean the defenses are nasty for those teams. So
Yeah.
those are the two scariest teams going into the playoffs right now, at least in the AFC. And the Broncos, they get the number one seed, all games being a mile high, where they're going to have the clear home field advantage. That's going to be a really good slate for the Broncos. So I'm very excited for the Broncos.
Yep.
Now we're going to talk about the Rams, right? Before we get into the Rams Seahawks, we're going to talk about how the Rams went out there and beat Detroit. Rams went out there and put a whooping on Detroit. The first half was very competitive. The first half, I was looking kind of like, oh, it's going to be a decent game. It's like it might go back and forth. Detroit might upset us, and then the Rams just took over in the second half. Rams went out there and put up four. I think it was a 40 piece on them. They they just went out there. I can't remember the exact score, but I remember they won by at least because I don't know if it was 40. I gotta look up the exact score, but I can't remember right now. But I know the Rams went out there and looked dominant in the second half. They pulled away with the whole entire lead. After the Rams knocked off Detroit, this is when I will lead off. In a high scoring game in the NFC, oh, let me see. What was the question? Oh, Detroit in a high scoring NFC matchup. Are the Rams for real and they still Super Bowl contenders in that number one spot? This is a quick and easy answer. Rams are still a Super Bowl contender. The odds say it right now. You look at the odds. Rams are a plus 350 to win the Super Bowl, and the next team down is the Patriots and the Bills at plus 800. You see that giant gap between it, where everyone's believing in the Rams. Everybody believes now that the Rams are the best team in the NFL. They're going to the Super Bowl, and it seems so funny to me because I've been saying for so long that the Rams are the number one, the best team in the NFL. I mean, you have both. We've been putting the Rams at number one for weeks and weeks, and people have been saying, "Oh no, maybe they're not as good." I even dropped them down to two. The last time we did this episode, I dropped them down to number two because they lost to the Panthers. I was like, you know what? I have to drop them down one spot, and now they're back up to being the best team in the NFL, I believe. So I do believe the Rams can sustain it. That was the question. I forgot to even ask the question. The question was: can the Rams sustain their playoff position, especially after this win in Detroit? Answer is yeah. They go out there and beat Seattle tonight. If they can go, and that's gonna be a good game. We'll give a prediction on it a little bit after all these topics. But they keep their flow going. They beat Seattle tonight in Seattle for sure. They're gonna be the number one seed, and the whole entire Super Bowl run is gonna be going through LA.
Yeah, man. Them taking care of business against Detroit, um, just it says and it shows how dominant they're going to be going into the playoffs, especially how they finishing up these last couple few games of the season. Um, as I said before, offensively, defensively, they are just truly a force to be reckoned with, and most importantly, it doesn't look like they're just taking the foot off the gas moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that was honestly a really easy answer for us. Like they're for sure going to keep their. They just win tonight, and how they beat Detroit last week, and how they beat Arizona the week before. I think I came on here and told you I was like I was mad we lost to Carolina, but when we lost to Carolina, I was like we needed that. We really needed that because if we would have beat Carolina, we would have beat, and then we wouldn't beat Arizona. We might have went into Detroit and lost. We
Yeah,
might have been like a kind of a game where we would have lost to Detroit. But now since we lost that Carolina game, we beat Detroit, and now we're going to go up against the Seattle where I'm happy we got a loss before Seattle because if we would have went on that run going into Seattle tonight, I'd be coming here like you know what, this is a game the Rams might lose because we're on a high horse right now. So one thing that the Rams got to worry about is Devontae Adams' injury. That's the only thing we got to worry about. Devontae Adams got hurt, but he's not too hurt because if this was a playoff game, Devontae would be playing tonight. So like he's not gonna play, but if this was a playoff game, he will be playing tonight, and he probably is gonna play next week. So as long as Devontae's back, I think everything will go well. But let's talk about an injury that wasn't big impactful. Big impactful injury was Patrick Mahomes tearing his ACL at the end of the game against the Chargers. They went out there and they had to put Gardner Minshew in at the end of the game because Pat just went out there and tore an ACL. I'm not a big Patrick Mahomes fan, but at the same time, I never want to see a player get hurt. It's one thing you don't want to see is injury, especially to a great player like Patrick Mahomes, that's arguably already a top five quarterback in history. But I want to ask you, Hez, is how big of an impact will Patrick Mahomes' injury and the Chiefs being eliminated have on the AFC landscape going into the playoffs?
Well, it was unfortunate for starters to see Pat go down like that, especially because of the injuries that he's been dealing with all year. You can just tell he's pretty much been playing with like a constant limp, if you will. So, but even with him being there, like we already seen and said that they aren't going to go anywhere this season.
Hmm.
They've had their chances before, but the games that actually really matter to keep continuing to contend and not only the conference, but and there's just their division alone, they just couldn't get the job done. But now that KC is officially out the way for the rest of the season, it clearly just opens up for any team to step up and to claim that the conference to the Super Bowl. So it's pretty much wide open now, and really anybody can kind of reclaim that. And moving forward, now everybody can kind of see like, all right, who's really going to be the one to actually say, yeah, we're the ones to go all the way this year, and actually see if we can go on a little run.
Yeah, with the landscape after they're out, like they were gonna even without Patrick Mahomes' injuries, they still were gonna miss the playoffs. They were not gonna make the playoffs even if he was playing. They would lose. People forget that they were losing the game to the Chargers all the way up to the injury. What they probably could have pulled off a late last second comeback to win the game. It's possible, but still, they were not going to make the playoffs either way. But with Patrick Mahomes' injury, I think that the one thing that with that it's a big thing is how are they going to look next year? Because Travis Kelsey might retire. Patrick Mahomes is going to be missing out. The playoffs might be wide open for both teams going into next year. So it's going to be kind of wild to see the next couple years of how the Chiefs are going to have to rebuild. But for this year, the playoff landscape, yeah, like you said, it's wide open. You got so many teams that can go to the Super Bowl. You got the Patriots, got the Broncos. You got the Texans getting hot at the right time. You got the Bills with Josh Allen. Lamar can sneak into the playoffs for the Ravens get in there. You got the Steelers even with Aaron Rodgers. Like I don't really believe in the Steelers to make the Super Bowl, but it's on the board because right now you don't know who's the top heavy favorite in the AFC. The AFC is kind of wide open. Like, yeah, Broncos are the clear number one seed. They're looking like they're the best team, but they're still young. You never know how a young team is going to come out there and do. So one thing I can say about the landscape is there's one guy that's under pressure to win the Super Bowl this year. And it was the guy I picked to win the Super Bowl this year. And he's under the most pressure is Josh Allen. If Josh Allen makes the playoffs with the Bills, well, he is going to make the playoffs. So when Josh Allen gets into the playoffs with the Bills, and there's no Lamar and there's no Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, and you got an old Aaron Rodgers, a young Justin Herbert that has a banged up offensive line. You got a Trevor Lawrence where Trevor Lawrence has been up and down all season. Then you got Drake May in his second year, and you got another Bo Nix in his second year. You got a whole bunch of guys that you should go out there and beat. So Josh Allen's going to be under a whole bunch of pressure to come in, but I think that's literally how the landscape turns out after it. It's wide open, but there's one guy that's under pressure. It's Josh Allen. Josh Allen, if there's no Mahomes in the playoffs, that was his kryptonite. That was the only guy that could beat him in the playoffs. He goes out there, he still doesn't make it. Man, I don't know what's going to be next for the Bills, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, this should be relatively, now I wouldn't say easier route, but it is definitely wide open for the Bills to actually make their mark and actually go all the way compared to previous years of what they had to deal with, especially Josh Allen. So yeah, man, I'm gonna be rooting for them, and let's just hope that they can stay consistent moving forward in the postseason.
Yeah, and like let's just stay on the Bills for a second to our next topic, to where the Bills, the comeback over the Patriots. They were down. I think it was 21-0, or maybe was it 21-3. They were down a lot. That's all
Yeah,
I know. They were down a lot. It was looking bad. Dude, my lock of the day for Sunday was Bills money line. That was my lock of the day for the NFL. I'm sitting there like, am I dumb? I was like, am I dumb? Was that a dumb pick? Then I see a touchdown scored. And then another touchdown scored. I'm like, okay, they get to halftime. Let's see what they do the second half. They kept scoring. They made like 5 drives, but they kept going down and scoring. Then Then at the end of the game, Travion Henderson runs for like 75 yards or like 70 yards to take the lead again. I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, y'all gonna blow it. And then Josh Allen leads another touchdown drive down the field. Dude, it was such a great comeback. So it was just a wild game. I'm gonna say this: can the Bills win against the Patriots on that giant comeback, swing the AFC East race, especially when New England's 10-game winning streak finally snaps? Like, is it time for the Bills to take over the AFC East? As of right now, I'm gonna say yeah. I really do believe they can end up sneaking the AFC East and winning the back. To be honest, because no spoiler alert right now, because I know when we come back in here, probably Saturday if we have time, we're gonna go over our Sunday slate. So I'm a little spoiler. I think the Ravens can take the Patriots this week. I do believe the Ravens, and they're favored. The Ravens are 3-point favorites, and people are like, "Oh, how are they favorites? The Patriots should be favored. Oh, it's some easy money on the Patriots." That's a trap. Bookies are doing that to people. The bookies know who's going to win that game. They know the Ravens are going to win that game. So what they're doing is they're putting the better team as underdog, so everybody can go bet the underdog. That's what they're doing. The Ravens are going to go out there and win that game. When the Ravens win and the Bills win this weekend, they're going to be tied. It's going to come out to there, and the Bills can get the number one seed. So I do believe it is possible. I do believe that game swaying the whole entire AFC East, and to where the Patriots, that's a big letdown. You go out there and blow a 21-point lead, and then you lose the game to the Bills, a division rival, at home. That's going to be a big like adrenaline dump. That's going to be like, damn, like that kind of sucks. At the same exact time, I'm kind of, if you're a Patriots fan, it's not the end of the world, because if you lost that game, at least you got the loss out now. And then I think they might lose to the Ravens coming up, but at least you're getting your losses out now. Like, you got to get losses. You're not going to go on a 15-game win streak all the way into the playoffs. So at least you're getting it out now. Get those young jitters out of the way. But as of the question, I do believe that did swing it. And I think the Bills can come back to win the division.
Yeah, I wholly agree. Just because it seems like they're starting to play with a little bit more fire and consistency compared to a lot of the past weeks. It was rather if it was Josh Allen not looking comfortable out there, not having too many weapons out there that he could rely on, such as like Keon Coleman and a few other receivers. At one point, he was just relied on the running game, and then that slowed down. So now they have no choice but to kind of get everybody else involved. But it ultimately just kind of comes down to how we were talking about in previous weeks. We know how much the talent that they're surrounded by, and how much they can actually put points on the board, regardless if they are in the lead or making a comeback. But the biggest question for some weeks now, almost like a month, was can they tighten up that run defense? So at the end, that's going to make a huge difference for them and actually separate them between a lot of other teams in the AFC if they're actually going to be contenders this year and go all the way. But as far as reclaiming back that division, it's theirs for the taking for sure. I mean, the Patriots definitely are doing their thing, and it's not to discredit them. I don't really see them slowing down as much either before the season ends. But as far as the Bills, man, like it was pretty much all theirs since the beginning. And now that they're starting to come up, there's no better time but now to actually start, making a comeback for that division. So I could definitely see them being on the top of that.
Yeah, I do believe like that was a must win for them. They went out there and got it. That's the reason why I took them as my lock. That was the reason why I took the Bills. Because I was like, this is a must win for them. And I think I told you about my dog saying hi to everybody. But yeah, I think I told you last time that it's very hard to beat the teams two times in one season. Like, it is really, especially in a division matchup, it's really hard to beat a team, especially like if it's even hard to beat them like once. So like, you think you can go in there twice, and like, I get it. They went into Buffalo, won the first game. In this game, they should have won because they're in New England, but it's a divisional matchup. Those divisional games, especially when the teams are so even like that, they usually split them. They usually go 1-1 in the regular season. Then we'll see how the off season runs out. But the one thing I want to talk about is the Bills defense. Like I said, they were down a whole bunch of points in the first half and they came back. But is the Bills defense still a concern even though after they won the game? I'm going to say yes, it is. First off, because they got down so many points. The defense going to stop them in the all first half. And then the rebuttal, I know somebody will say, well, they stopped them enough, the Bills can get in the game. They got the stops in the second half. They did. They got the stops in the second, excuse me, they got the stops in the second half. And then the Bills took the lead. But what happened right after? Bills got the lead. I'm sitting there thinking like, oh yeah, games will be over. They won. They're going to win the game. It's like this. Patriots are probably not going to score anymore. Then Travion runs for like 70 yards to take the lead again. And then that just shows again that the Bills cannot stop the run. And when you see Travion Henderson, I'm not saying he's a bum, but Travion Henderson's a really good running back. But still, you're 70 yards when you just got the lead and you gave up the lead again. And Josh Allen has to go out there and be Superman to come out there and win the game again. So I'm
Man.
gonna say, yeah, it's still a concern. That's the one thing that scares me about the Bills because if there's two things that travel in the playoffs when cold weather games because it's gonna be cold during the playoffs, two things that travel in the playoffs are going to be the run game and the defense. Two different things. The Bills got the run game, but they can't stop the run. That's the biggest problem because the run games what a lot of people are going to be going to in the playoffs, and if you can't stop the run, that's going to be scary. So I'm going to say it is a concern. It's a big concern because in the playoffs, the people are going to be running the ball, and if you can't stop it, you might get knocked out early.
Yeah, more than half the season, we just kept talking about how bad that the run defense is. Like, you can literally put the worst team out there, and they can have a field day of just running it up, just sweeps or stretches or halfback dives. Like it, that's always been the biggest question mark for majority of the season is if they can actually improve or not, or just simply step up of what the players that they have. So that's definitely the biggest thing that they would have to actually want to do better in, especially like you just said, like in a cold weather, and especially if it's going to be home games for them. It's a clear advantage, but it's like, man, like hell, even when the Bucks came into town and we were playing against them, we were down to our like third, fourth string running back who barely even plays special teams, and that's a in his second year running all
Mm-hmm.
over and having a career day. Rather if it was catching it on an out route or you know just running up and down the middle. Like everybody was pretty much against them. So in order for the Bills to actually be complete, they would have to adjust that real quick.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, if they don't get that run game fixed, like I said, they could get knocked out early. So that's the one thing that scares me about Bills. I had the Bills win the Super Bowl this year, and guys, I had them beating the Rams in the Super Bowl. So like, I'm not as biased of a Rams fan as all because I had us making a Super Bowl, but I did have the Bills beating us. So damn, if they make the Super Bowl and they lose again, imagine how bad those Bills fans will be. Like they lose another Super Bowl, that'll just be so sad. I'd be sad for them. I would. Even if they lost, even if the Rams won a Super Bowl, I'd be sad for the Bills fans. I'd be like, damn, like you guys lost another one. That's just sad. But
And
let's
it's
talk
not like
about
they have and it's not like they don't have any bums. Like they got Deion Dawkins. They got playmakers over there. So it's just no excuse. It's like nobody is either people are just either everybody on the team is just not clearly communicating with each other when it comes down to the run, or they just are playing like sort of half-assed, and they're always having to. It, it's bad when the safeties are pretty much like trying to trail them and trying to knock them out of bounds or trying to trip tackle them just by your shoelace. So I'm like, man, that can't happen. Like, I mean, that's just kind of one. That's just basic one-on-one knowledge of football. Like, it should go no farther than the linebackers. Once your DBs are starting to barely clip them just for them just to get short of basically booking it to the house, it's a sincere problem.
and then their DBs can't tackle either. That's the problem with the Bills.
Exactly.
Like when they get past the linebackers, the DBs can't tackle. That's the none of the DBs can tackle. Yes, so they play coverage? Just like yes, they can, but they cannot tackle at all. So that's
Yeah.
why the run game is just so bad for them. Like the linebackers are out of position. The defensive line's already not that good when they don't even get that many sacks in the year. And then when they get past the defensive line and the linebackers, the DBs can't tackle. So it just seems like it's just really bad run defense. So that really concerns me. But let's talk about a team that does have a great defense and a great run defense. But the one thing we're actually going to be talking about for the first time is going to be the offensive side of this team. We're going to be talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are on a really good win streak right now. Trevor Lawrence went out there and had a historic game. He went out there and had 5 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. So 6 touchdowns total for Trevor Lawrence. Hey, Trevor Lawrence is my pick for comeback player of the year. So hopefully he keeps this up. I want to see it right now. Christian McCaffrey's leading comeback player of the year, but Trevor Lawrence went from being a plus 1800 to all the way to a plus 500. So he's making his way up. He's coming in. Trevor Lawrence, if he keeps playing like this, he'll win comeback player of the year. And I want him to. I'm a big Trevor Lawrence fan. So the one thing I'm gonna say is with Jacksonville's offensive explosion, Does this make them a true Super Bowl contender, or are they more of just a team that just play off, get in, one and done?
I could see them legit be a contender in the playoffs for sure. I wouldn't know if they're a whole complete team just yet to make a Super Bowl, but they are talented. Their offense is really explosive. Their defense is just as good, just about everybody else. I don't want to say like better than Houston. We'll obviously talk about that a little bit later, but
Hmm.
they got some solid pieces around them, and they made some good trades over the trade deadline. So they definitely know what they're doing, and they got a good coaching staff over there. They got a really good solid foundation for the most part. But um yeah, I mean it's sad to say, but as much as success they're having so far, the most that they're probably going to do is maybe maybe be a one and done team in the playoffs, like considering of who's actually the other top three teams or top other five teams are in the AFC. So um but they're definitely a sleeper team to where no matter who's going to play up against them in the first round, they're going to really have to be a student and actually study a lot, because this is no rollover team. This is a team that can get hot at any moment, especially when Trevor Lawrence has the opportunity and has the time. So um yeah, just for right now, they look like a hot team that's going to be riding that wave for the rest of the season. But as far as getting to the playoffs, nobody really expects them per se to actually go that deep, but you never know.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville. I don't want to say they're a Super Bowl contender because it's kind of hard to say Super Bowl because they got the Broncos, you got the Patriots right there. So I do believe those teams are better. But besides those two teams, I think they're the better team out of. I think they're the better team. Besides, I think they're a better team than the Houston Texans, and I think they're a better team than the Los Angeles Chargers. I personally just think they're a better team than and I think they're a better team than the Steelers. And it just comes down to Trevor Lawrence can show up because if that Trevor Lawrence that played against, I mean, Barden, it was the Jets. Like, though I don't want to put too much stock into it because they went out there and beat the Jets, but still, if that Trevor Lawrence shows up, they can beat anybody. Like they can go
Yeah,
out there and they can beat anybody, especially if Travis Etienne's playing just like that as well, and that defense is playing good already, as good as well, and they've already beat Houston before, so they can do it again. So I'm gonna say to answer the question, are they a true Super Bowl contender? I'm gonna say no, but the AFC is so wide open that anything can happen. But I
yeah,
just don't see them beating the Bills or the. I don't see them. Oh, I didn't even. I forgot about the Bills. So I don't see them beating the Bills, the Broncos, or the Patriots. Patriots might be a better game. They could beat the Patriots on any given day. They could beat the Patriots, but for sure, I don't see them beating the Broncos or the Bills. So I'm going to say no. I do believe they can get into the playoffs, win a playoff game, and then probably get knocked out by the Bills or the Broncos. That's probably who they're going to end up playing against in that second round, and they'll probably end up getting knocked out. So I'm going to say no to answer the question. But the AFC right now, anything can happen. It's all up in the air because especially with the Chiefs and the Ravens, probably Ravens could still sneak in there, but we'll see after this weekend when they have to beat New England to make sure they can get in there. But I'm going to say no as of right now. Let's talk about a team that's on a 10-game
yeah.
win streak right now. 10-game win streak. Chicago Bears beat the Browns.
Go
They
Bears!
smacked the Browns. They smacked the Browns so bad. Like, it was bad. I felt so bad for Shador. I really did. I think I came on here and I said I thought Shador was going to outplay Caleb. I was like, I told a lot of people, I think Shador was going to outplay Caleb in that game. Caleb looked amazing. Shador went out there and looked really, really bad. We're not. The reason why I didn't put a Shador topic on here is I'm just tired of talking about it right now. Like, he has the worst offensive line. He has the worst receiving core. He has a coach that doesn't even like him. And like the only thing the Browns have is Miles Garrett going for that record. That's the only thing they care about right now. So, but let's talk about the Bears. Are the Bears for real? After that, oh no, actually, my bad. I said 10-game win streak, clinching 10 wins because they lost to the Packers. They were not a
Yeah,
10-game win streak. Let me correct myself. They
almost.
lost to the Packers. They clinched 10. They clinched 10 games. But I'm gonna say, are they for real, or do you kind of still hold that Packers loss against them?
Even with that L against the Packers, I mean, obviously when we were making our predictions leading up to that game, I mean, deep in my heart, I knew like the Packers between that matchup at this point in time in the season that they were going to actually probably come out and win, which they obviously did, but I was just rooting for Chicago just because, it's Caleb Williams, and how much he's kind of,
Hmm.
being on board and turning things around and going further than, his first season in the NFL. So, this is no doubt that the best season that they've had in a while, having and having a good quarterback at that leading the way. It's been all nothing but positive praise and for them and the success they've had thus far. Um, I would say that the regular season for them is for real. Like we obviously knew that they were gonna make a statement and be like, this ain't the same team as years before from the last time they made the playoffs, or just necessarily having a good run in a regular season and competing for that NFC North. Um, but I still think, kind of retracting a little bit to what we were saying in weeks past that that there's just too many. There's just too many other good teams that are powerhouses in the NFC that to where if they were going to match up against them, um, it probably won't really be the outcome that they're really looking for in terms of their results. So,
Hmm.
um, I just feel like that other teams in the playoffs, when it comes down to it, will kind of have their number, in terms of that experience or in terms of how much other talent that is surrounded by them, how much they can actually go out and get the quarterbacks or actually just continuously score on opposing defenses. So, um, I would say that they're for real for the most part moving forward. Like, yeah, they look good, but as we both said before, like it's not like we're trying to downplay them, but it's just the NFC is just too powerful right now, and other teams are if they whoever gets them in the first round, they're probably most likely going to be one and done this year. But it's a great sign that they're for real moving forward into next season, and they can only get better.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on the standpoint of to where if I say like how like to like kind of like rephrase the question, it's like are they for real? Like that means like are like because they're for real like a good team to get into the playoffs. They're a for real playoff team, but they're not a for real Super Bowl contender. Like there's too many people in the NFC that I can see beating them in the playoffs. Even with Michael Parsons going down, I still see the Packers probably beating them
Yeah,
in the playoffs. So I just think overall they're a really good team, but like you said, I really don't have really much to add besides they're a one and done team. I like Caleb Williams, I like Ben Johnson, I like how they've been playing recently, but I see them getting into the playoffs, getting one win depending on who they match up against, and then probably going away. Right, the Bears are
yeah,
the Bears are a team we should look for like 2 years down the road. In like 2 years, the Bears make some good moves, do what they're supposed to do. Ben Johnson improves as a coach because he's already a good coach. They can do something, but as of right now, they're a for real playoff team, but not a Super Bowl contender. Like, I just see too many holes. That's where it is. Like, and the Packers game kind of showed it. Like, kind of showed that I just seen a little bit too many holes. But they are a really good team. They will be making the playoffs. So yeah, they're a for real good team. I said for really, but they're they're a
for
for
real.
real for real. Yeah, they're they're a really good team, but they're not a Super Bowl contender. But I like Caleb Williams, and I'm rooting for him a lot.
And that's okay if they end up losing. It's just a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. Like it just they're improving. That's all they wanted to do this year. Nobody really had them probably making the playoffs this year. Me and you had them making the playoffs this year. We might actually be right in that division. We literally might be right in that division because me and you we had the Packers winning it, we had the Bears being second, and then we had the Lions third, and we had the Vikings fourth. One thing we'll see is I had the Lions making the playoffs. I had three teams in that division making the playoffs. You had the Lions missing the playoffs, so you might actually be right about that because the Lions are like in the hunt right now. They're like in out, in out. It just depends. It just depends on how they go. But yeah, with that division being so good, there's so many teams in the NFC overall that can beat the Bears. So yeah, they're not going to make the Super Bowl, but they are a team that can actually get into the playoffs. But let's talk about a team that can sneak into the Super Bowl right now. The Houston Texans on their sixth straight win for they're in a sixth straight win right now. Oh, can't even talk. A six-game winning streak. The Houston Texans. What does that mean for the playoff hopes? Can they keep this streak going? I'm gonna say yes, they can. Because if we go look into the Texans streak and the Texans last three games of the season, they have the Raiders, they have the Chargers, they have the Colts. Raiders is a W. I'm scared for Philip Rivers against the Texans. I really am. Philip Rivers still there. I'm scared for him. So what's it called? They're gonna beat the Colts. And then the Chargers game is gonna be a little harder, but I think they can beat the Chargers. The Texans. Let's go look at this real quick. I want to see. Let me count real quick before I say it. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. In 8 games, the last 8 games between the Texans and their opponents, only one team has scored over 20 points. That's crazy to say that Texans team they lead the league in third and outs. They have the most three and outs in the whole entire league with that defense. See that the Chiefs only scored 10, the Colts only scored 16, the Bills scored 19, Titans scored 13. This is the one team that scored over 20. Jaguars scored 29, Broncos scored 18, 49ers scored 15. So those are the last 8 games. They've only given up over 20 points once. So that's a very scary defense. And the one thing that's actually going good for them is CJ Stroud starting to look good. CJ Stroud is starting to look actually like a good quarterback because all year CJ's been looking kind of off. I was saying,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I started to question it. I was like, is CJ going to be a good quarterback, or is he just going to be one of these guys that came in the rookie year just so great and go down for the rest of his career? He was looking like that. Now, the last like 2 or 3 games since he's been back, he's been playing really, really well. So if CJ keeps playing like that, and the Texans have arguably the best defense in the league right now, it's going to be a crazy run. And imagine the Houston Texans making the Super Bowl off of that defense. That defense is for real. Three and outs, leading the whole NFL in three and outs by a long like landslide. Like they have like 15 to 20 more three and outs than any other team in the NFL. So that's just a great defense. So um yeah, I'm gonna pass it to you. I forgot what the question was. The question was, oh yeah, can they keep the streak going? And yeah, because of the schedule, they can keep the streak going. They have 3 more games against three teams. It's the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Colts. I think they can win all 3 of those. So yeah, I think they can go into the playoffs with a giant win streak.
Yeah, man. I'm rooting for CJ just because I was a big fan of him when he came into the league, and I'm like he when on a good day, I'm like, man, I'm like he can literally break that Ohio State Buckeye curse, of having quarterbacks that come in and
Mhm.
they're just like, they might have a good season, then all of a sudden they're just straight downhill. So, well, they're literally right behind Jacksonville, in that division, so they can literally come up and override them too if they really felt like it. And anything can happen at this point in the season to pretty much close out for the regular season, and they have a good fighting chance. As long as they continuously show up on defense. I don't think that's going to really go anywhere because D'Amico Ryans just knows where to put his players and know how to motivate them no matter what the score is, and to keep playing until the final whistle. And as long as they can do that, and as you just said to your point, like if as long as CJ can go out there and look comfortable and make these big plays,
Mhm.
they're gonna really look unstoppable, man. They're gonna be like a real life underdog. And shoot, that's gonna be that's definitely gonna be one of my favorite underdogs going into the playoffs this year. So um yeah, and like you said earlier, that imagine them if the Texans somehow come out of that conference and end up sneaking and going to the Super Bowl. First of all, nobody's gonna ever think the day that they actually would go. But then second of all, that's just straight up some Madden shit.
Oh yeah, that'll be amazing to see them make this giant run at the end of the season and make it. Because we were talking about earlier in like the year. I was like, are the Texans that bad? I was starting to think that earlier in the year, I was like, this Texas team sucks. I was like, and they have a good defense, but like they have a great defense, but they can't score anything. Now they're starting to score points. That's
Yeah,
all they needed. So if they can score these points, these like I said, only one team in the last eight games have scored over 20. So it's like
that's
CJ and CJ.
wild.
See, all CJ's got to do. If I get 21 or 22 points, I believe my defense can hold them below that. So that it's possible. It really is possible for them to get in, and it'll be a great story if they do it. But let's talk about another team real quick that is not living that Cinderella story right now. The team that is not as hot as a lot of people thought they were. A lot like beginning of the year. It's like the Texans. We thought they were bad, and now they're good. This team, the Lions, beginning of the year, we thought they were good, and now they're starting to do bad. The Lions, with their loss to the to the Rams, like I said, now I'm gonna correct myself. Rams did put up a 40 piece. It was 41-34. So that literally they put up 40 on them. So with the loss to the Rams, is their confidence kind of wavering and the playoff hopes kind of in doubt now? I'm gonna say yeah, for sure it is. Just because if you look at their last one, two, three, four, five, six, the last 7 games, they lost to the Vikings, which was a bad loss, non-playoff team, and then they beat the Commanders with Marcus Mariota at quarterback, not even a starting quarterback. Then they lost to the Eagles. Then they beat the Giants when the Giants took them to overtime. But that was the game that Jackson Dart, I think that was the game Jackson Dart got hurt. It was against the Lions, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So I believe that was the game. So they went to overtime, but then they lost. They beat the Giants, where Giants are not a good team. Then they went to play the Packers. They lost to the Packers. Then they went out there and beat the Cowboys, and then they lost to the Rams. So if we look at their last 7 games, they have not beat a playoff team. And the 3 playoff teams they have played, they've lost all 3 of them. They lost to the Packers, they lost to the they lost to the Rams, and they lost to the Eagles. Those are the 3 teams that are going to be in the playoffs. They lost to all in the same conference. So I think it is in doubt. And I think me and you are starting to be right about the Lions. We both thought they weren't probably going to be as good this year. Like in the beginning of the year, we were like, oh dang, were we wrong about the Lions? No, I can say right now we weren't wrong about the Lions. The Lions are exactly who we thought they were in the preseason. And it seems like the defensive coordinator problems with them getting a new defensive coordinator, the new offensive coordinator. I think it's all going bad for them right now. Dan Campbell has to call both sides of the offense, so he's losing trust in his coordinators, and he's starting to call plays. So yeah, I think their confidence is wavering, and I think their playoff hopes are in doubt. Like right now, they're on a life support right now. They got the Steelers next, then they got the Vikings, they got the Bears. I think they could beat the Vikings, but the Bears and the Steelers, those are 2 games to lose. They have to win 2 of those. These last 3 games, they have to win 2. If they lose 2 of these games, they're probably not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a must win from here on out to close out the season if they're gonna actually, claim to make the playoffs again, which they were
Hmm.
looking not too long ago. But um and hell, one of the teams they beat was, my Buccaneers, which really didn't count in my eyes because I'm like we were like at 20%, like
Everybody was out.
everybody was out. We weren't even nearly close to the team that we now have healthy on our roster. So they just really haven't looked the same for like the last 5 games or so. Like they can't get any type of offensive rhythm whatsoever. They arguably lost their best pass rusher for the season in Hutchinson. DBs are pretty much struggling to, cover anybody out there. It's just not really, it hasn't really been looking good for them for some time now. And quite frankly, they're doing better than we thought, like we just said, to start the season. But as of lately, they just kind of have lost their momentum, and it's just looking like it's coming down more in that division, at least between Chicago and Green Bay. So if they're gonna actually try to sneak in there somehow, or try to be the ones to contend for like a wild card or just barely a game above, like we just said, they have no choice but to win out. They have no room for error. They can't lose any more games like that. So they shouldn't even have lost a lot of these other games in the last 4 or 5 games. But the fact that we're here now and this is the situation that they're in, it's truly up to the team if where they want to go moving forward. It's only a couple players, maybe if that, that's gonna get their stats no matter what. Like you're gonna.
Hmm. Yeah, especially like with how they've been playing. Like I don't know if they can win those 2 games. Like I said, they have to win 2 of those 3 games. They probably will beat the Vikings, but when they play the Bears and they play the Steelers, they could lose. They could lose both. They honestly can. So the way they're playing, so we'll see how it comes down, especially this Sunday. We'll see how they do against the Steelers, but for sure they're in doubt right now. But we're gonna talk about a team that's playoffs hopes are not in doubt, but their Super Bowl hopes might be in doubt as of right now. Michael Parsons went out with a torn ACL, out for the season. He might be at
Damn.
least miss like a couple years. I mean, a couple years, a couple games going to next season. It looked like a really bad injury. It really did. His whole knee just buckled. It looked really bad. He's out for the season at the moment. So with Parsons going down, Hez, how do you think this will impact the Packers postseason?
Well, it sucks too that he had to go down like that, especially after the year that he's having straight fresh off a trade, from the Dallas Cowboys and being that player that people are looking for that can be the difference maker on that defense. Especially because it was a non-contact injury too. It just literally
Mm-hmm.
gave out on him. So that's always the worst too. And but it sucks. It is a little bit of detrimental like impact for in terms of that defense. But I think even with him being out, the Packers defense is they still got some players out there that can hold their own. So I don't think it's going to be too much of a letdown for the most part. And we don't even know the severity of his injury yet. He might if they end up still extending the playoff hopes, then they can or when they get into the playoffs, he might even make a return, or he might just say, you know what, like I can at least play for another game. But as far as him being out and how it impacts everyone else on that defense, they have other playmakers out there. So as long as everybody, continues to hit their gaps and stay in coverage all day and create pressure, um, the Packers are still a legit team no matter what. We already know when Jordan Love on a good day what he can do, and he can sling the rocks at everybody. But and putting up points is really never a problem with them. They can always stay in the game, or they can always just stay ahead. But I don't think it sucks, but I don't think people are realizing the full potential of Green Bay's team as a whole, that they can actually hold their own even without Micah Parsons.
Um, I'm gonna say like okay, I'm gonna put it in two perspectives. From my perspective, I don't think it changes anything, as in like their playoff hopes. Like from at least my perspective of what I thought the Packers would do. I thought the Packers would win a playoff game, maybe win two, get to an NFC Championship, and then lose an NFC Championship and not go to Super Bowl. I thought their ceiling was the NFC Championship because I thought the Rams would knock them off, or I thought the Rams would actually get past them and Rams make the Super Bowl. So their ceiling to me was the NFC Championship game, and they can still get there. So I don't really change my expectations as much on them. I still think it's really possible for them to make the NFC Championship. But if we're talking about from a whole, from a media standpoint, from the public standpoint, I think it's a big impact on them because everybody was talking Packers Super Bowl. Everybody was saying the Packers are going to go to Super Bowl because Michael Parsons is there. Now they're a Super Bowl threat. They can make it. I didn't think they made the Super Bowl, but from the public standpoint of them thinking they can make the Super Bowl, I think for sure they're not making it now without Micah. Because Micah is going to be that pass rush to actually get them there. They get in and make those quarterbacks throw early balls and make some mistakes, and the Packers can go out there and DBs can do something. Jordan Love come and show up. So I think it's a giant impact on their Super Bowl hopes. From my perspective, I don't think it changes much because I didn't see them going to Super Bowl anyway. I thought they ceiling NFC Championship, and to me, the ceiling still right now is NFC Championship. So I don't really move the goalposts for them as much, but from a standpoint of like everybody else, it's probably a big impact because I don't think he's going to be back for the playoffs. I know you said it's possible, but I know I can't. It's hard to do this because I'm not a doctor, first of all, and also you can't just compare two different people's bodies. But this is how I look at it from like the outside looking in. Mahomes tore his ACL, and he needed surgery, and he's going to be out. Like literally, he's out, and he's not going to be back. He might even miss the beginning of next year.
You said nine
Um,
months.
it's 9 months, right, for Mahomes.
Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, after his surgery, and he has surgery, and he's gonna be out for 9 months. Like just looking at it wise, Micah's injury looked worse. Just the way his whole entire knee just buckled in and bent in, that looked like that looked really bad. So I don't know if he'll be able to come back. I hope so. I hope he doesn't. I hope he that gets a good second. Because I think the last thing I heard is he was getting a second opinion to see if he needed surgery or not. So we'll see. Because I do believe he's gonna need surgery, and I do believe he's gonna be out. And I hope he comes back. Because Micah, the one thing about Micah, he is a nice guy. He's a really nice dude. You ever watch his podcast? Again, does he talk a little bit too much and he should not have a podcast? Yeah, I joke about that all the time. Like, yeah, Micah talks too much. He should be wanting to win games, wanting to talking. But he's a really nice dude. He just loves to have fun. He loves to play football. He loves to have fun. That's what the man's all about. So, I prayers out for Michael Parsons because I do want to see him back in the NFL. But as of right now, I don't move the goalposts the Packers. I still think they're an NFC Championship material team. But
Yeah, no.
but yeah, that's all of our topics we have for today. The game's going to be starting in about 10 minutes. So let's get right into our top five teams. And we're going to give you our predictions on the Rams versus Seahawks. The game that starts in about 10 minutes. I'll go first on our top five teams in the NFL as of right now. One thing I'm going to say where I'm going to start at five. 5 and 6 are tied for me. I have a 5A and I have a 5B. That's how I have five at. I don't have a six spot because I think five is literally a tie for me. So I'm gonna say 5A is the let's go 5B first. 5B is the Texans. I have the Texans at 5B. Like they're just as good as that team I have at 5A. Like that's why I don't have a number five, a 5 and 6 spot. Like they're just tied to me. So Texans are at 5B. 5A, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars because I think those teams are they're in the same division. Both have good defenses. Both quarterbacks are starting to play well right now. Both of them, both of them have good like overall coaching. But where I give it a little slight edge the to the Jaguars is they have a better run game because the teams are almost identical to me. Texans have a better defense. Jaguars defense is good enough to hold their own, but that run game, which has NTN, is just better than Nick Chubb and I think it was Mark. I can't remember his name. I think it starts with an M. The rookie they got, I can't remember his name, but it's just a better run game overall. So those are my five spot. 5B Texans, 5A Jaguars. Number four, I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are a top five team in the NFL. I think I had them at four because they're 11-3. Their defense is great. Their run game is really good. Their coach is a great coach. Um, and one thing that makes me put him so low is that Sam Darnold. I just can't trust Sam Darnold. So we'll see tonight if I can trust him a little more, but I just can't trust him in big games. So that's the reason why I don't have them at 3, 2, or 1. So Seahawks at number 4. At number 3, I'm bringing them down a spot because they lost to the Bills. I'm taking the Patriots at number 3. I had the Patriots at the third spot. You can't blow a 21 point lead and still be in my number 1, number 2 spot. Like that's just not happening. So I had the Patriots at 3. At number 2, I'm having the Broncos. The Broncos, clear number 1 seed in the NFC, the AFC right now. Clear number 1 seed. Their defense is amazing. Their coaching is amazing. Their run game is really good, especially RJ Harvey coming into his own right now. So now they have like a two-headed monster over there with Dobson and Harvey. And Bo Nix is playing really good right now. So I'm going to have to put the Broncos at 2. And the number 1 team in the NFL, we'll see after tonight. Los Angeles Rams. Rams are the best team in the NFL right now, guys. I don't know how much else to say about that. Everything is really good. As long as Devontae comes back, we're still going to be the best team in the NFL. It sucks that he's not going to be there for the Seattle game tonight, but I still believe that we're the best team in the NFL right now. Defense is really good. Offense is amazing. Coach is probably a top 3 coach in the NFL right now. So, and overall, we're the least penalized defense in the whole entire NFL. So we don't give up easy plays or easy yardage. So Rams at number 1.
Yeah, from top to bottom with the Rams leading it off, it pretty much is the same exact list what I came up with, and having that 5B as well with the Texans being an honorable mention. So it's pretty clear cut of who deserves to be on the spot this week, and yeah, let's just hope that everybody can continue to stay on top as where they were. Obviously, the Patriots have to drop down a little bit because of the lead that they actually lost against Buffalo, but they're still in it as well. But yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. That's also my top five list for this week.
Yeah, then you know who I have at number 7? That's like right below the Jaguars and the Texans. But they're all to me, they're all right there. All three of them are right there. But I think they're slightly better as the Bills. The Bills are another team that anybody could put in the top 5. But I need to see more from the Bills. I know they just came back and beat the Patriots, but they were still down 21 at one point of that game. So I can't put them in my top 5 yet until they show me a little more. But it seems like me and you are on the same page. Like defenses are kind of ruling this top 5 right now. Honestly, the defense and coaching is kind of ruling the top 5, and Matthew Stafford being the MVP. That's just like it. Matthew Stafford is doing so great. I'm just so happy for the dude. So
If
yeah,
there was
Rams number.
another honorable mention as well, I'm gonna put the Arlington Lions. Just kidding.
Argentine Lions. bro is shouting out high school football teams. Like guys, you guys want to know that was the high school me and Hez actually met at. So that was On to Lions. You guys are honorable mention for the top 5 teams in the NFL. So, but
Now,
eh, but guys, we're gonna give you our top our Rams versus Seahawks prediction. The game starts in 3 minutes. Then we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna go watch this game. So, Hez, I'm gonna let you go first on this one. Who you got tonight? Rams or Seahawks in Thursday Night Football
oh
in
yeah, man, I
Seattle?
gotta in Seattle too. It's gonna be tough, man. That's probably one of the hardest places, if not the hardest place to play in this league. So, but I still believe the Rams are gonna get it done no matter what. Got to root for the hometown squad, and I just feel like they're gonna ultimately get that better edge on Seattle, especially against Sam Darnold playing in a primetime game like this. Um, uh, I'm gonna have. I think it's gonna be a little bit of a fight, but I think the Rams are ultimately gonna come up winning in Seattle. I'm gonna say they're gonna win 28-22.
28-22 Rams. This one is so hard for me. It was really hard for me. I almost picked the Seattle Seahawks because I think I've said many times on our show it's hard to beat a team twice in one year, especially division matchup. It's really hard to pick beat a team twice. But I have to go with the Rams. Like I have to go with the Rams mainly because McVay has shown that he owns Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold just can't play against McVay. McVay just like knows him really well. Um, I believe it's the weather is going to be a little bad over there too, so that's going to impact. We already seen Matthew Stafford in a snow game have a good game against Philadelphia. We've seen him play many bad weather games, still do great. Sam Darnold don't really do good in bad weather because the ball and gusty winds. He's not. I don't know how he's going to do. The other thing is, I got the Rams because um, uh, uh, Matthew Stafford is 6-0 in his career against the Seattle Seahawks, so he has never lost to the Seattle Seahawks in his career. McVay on Thursday Night Football is 6-1. So on Thursday Night Football, McVay has only lost one game in his career, and he's won six. So everything points as the Rams. My free play I put out on my Instagram was Rams plus 1.5. Because I believe if the Rams do lose this game, it's gonna be like 1 point. It's gonna be like a kickoff field goal right at the end of the game. But I had the Rams winning. I think Stafford goes out there, throws for 2 or 3 touchdowns, has a great game. I'm gonna say he throws 2 touchdowns for Matthew Stafford. He has a decent, a really good game. It's gonna be more of a run game, to my opinion. I think Kyron Williams runs for like 60 to 70 yards. Blake Corum runs for like 35 to 40, so we'll have over 100 yards rushing. But my score prediction, I'm going to go with the Rams in a very, very close game, guys. I have the Rams winning this game 21-20 right at the end of the break. I can honestly see the Seahawks kicking like a 60-yard field goal to win the game, missing it. Rams walk off with the lead, just how the first game kind of played out. So I think the Rams win this game very, very tight, but I got the Los Angeles Rams going to Seattle winning the game.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. The game's starting right now. We're going to get our butts out of here, watch this Rams versus Seahawks. Go Rams. If you guys are here for the first time, like I said in the beginning, click that thumbs up, like the video, subscribe after the snap episode. Oh, excuse me. Episodes, that font getting to me. Episode 23. We're going to be back here later on this week, break down our Sunday slates. We didn't come back last week because it was just so much going on that week. Me and Hez are both tired. We didn't come out here and give you guys our Sunday predictions. This week, I will make time. I will get out here and give you guys a Sunday's prediction. We'll have after the snap going on. But I'm your host, Wager Zone. Before we get out of here, Hez, you want to say bye to the people?
Yes, sir. As always, everybody stay safe, stay positive, stay authentically yourself. Spend as much time as possible with your loved ones for the holidays, and go Rams, go Bucks.
And you see this, guys? Hez the water drinker, but you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put this right here. Yeah, like right
Fanta,
there.
Fanta, don't you? And
Bye, guys.
hashtag fire toilet bowls.
Yeah. Hashtag fire Todd Bowles, guys. I didn't want to talk about I just didn't. I didn't have a topic for the Buccaneers this week because I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave that alone right now. We'll talk about them. We'll see how they make the playoffs first, then we can talk about the Buccaneers. Because right now, Todd Bowles is just shitting the bed with that one. All right, guys, I'm gonna go watch this Rams game. I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you next time, man.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.